Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Meagher, joined by our good friend and co-host, Jackson Muniz, throwing up the signs, getting ready for the late pick five tonight. Of course, we're going to be talking about the late pick five at Del Mar, and Ryan Anderson, of course, our other co-host, will be joining us in just a bit. I think he thinks he's big time now, Jackson, so he gets to, show up whenever he wants. So guess we got to deal with that. Amongst other things. So we're going to get into that sequence. It's a really good sequence. We're going to be getting into that shortly. But before we do that, of course, we have to go through our peripherals. You can listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor. Those are our listening and viewing platforms. We've got our regular Power Picks tip sheet. You can go subscribe to those. You get 2 full tracks, ABC grids, pick 5 plays, spot plays, all that good stuff. So go ahead and check those out. And then you can find out more about us and subscribe to those Power Picks as well down at the website right down there, HHH Racing Podcast.com. I believe there will be this Saturday a live show, Weekend Warriors. Howard will be hosting that show. Trackside from Saratoga. I know Howard Kravitz, Kyle Roscoe, Matt Miller, Patrick Kunzel, Brad Anderson, they're all at Saratoga. They just got there on Wednesday, enjoyed the track today. I know they're going to be there at least tomorrow and Saturday. So Saturday, make sure to tune into that live show. Going to be a good one. They got a great card at Saratoga. I believe the feature, Jackson, on Saturday is the Sword Dancer, the Return of Farbridge. Got some other good marathoners in there as well. So looking forward to that card. But we got a good one ourselves. We're going to be talking about, of course, late pick 5 at Del Mar. And we got a special guest that's going to be joining us to talk about this tough sequence. If you guys aren't familiar, I brought on some guests before. There was a radio show I listened to in the local area down here in Southern California. And this gentleman is a weekly guest on this show. So let's go ahead and bring him on. His name is Jonathan Hardoon. John, good evening.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Doing all right. And I don't think a lot of people on this platform are super familiar with you beside myself, but tell us a little bit about yourself and how we can contact you and the information that you provide.
Well, I work for the Raggers and Sheets. They're the number one, they make figures. He was the original figure maker before Andy Beyer, before Thorograph or any of those, Len Ragerson. And I've actually been working for them for 48 years. I do daily Zoom seminars for people that use the sheets. If you have the sheets, you get to join our daily Zoom. We do all the NYRA tracks. And I handicap both Southern California and New York. I lived in California for 24 years before I moved back to New York. I actually live in Saratoga all year round. It's a great place, especially when they're not running here. The town is quiet and it's completely different atmosphere. I've done radio show. I did the Roger Stein show, which was the number one racing show in Southern California for many years. I do a daily racing show from Las Vegas called Race Day Las Vegas, and I do Thoroughbred LA on both Saturdays and Sundays. On Saturdays with John Lindo and Bob Ike, and on Sundays with Mike Willman.
Yeah,
there you have
it.
Busy man. I love it.
I'm sure there are the pros and cons to a lot of the people gravitating up to the state of New York around this time, right?
Well, it's crazy. The town is hopping, not so busy this year, believe it or not. I think they finally outpriced themselves. First of all, they have a new ridiculous rule at the racetrack: no cash allowed except to bet on horses. If you want to get in the track and buy a program or pay for parking or buy a racing form, you need to use a credit card. People aren't happy with that. That's nonsense. And, you win a race, you want to buy a round of drinks for your friends or whatever, no cash. What the hell is that about? The racetrack is supposed to be able to use cash. The last time I checked, cash was king, but I guess not at racetracks.
Jackson, are you a big cash user? I really am not myself. I know a lot of the stuff I do.
Well, old-timers, us old-timers, you guys are young, whippersnappers. So.
If I'm at the track, I prefer to use the cash. I just feel like I already have it on hand, so I'll use that. I think it's better.
This way you don't feel it. If you're using cash, it's it.
That's what I tell these guys all the time. I'm like, it's so much easier to just deposit on my phone like another $50 into my account. Like I like having the cash because I have to think 3 or 4 times about, do I really want to go to the ATM and withdraw from the ATM and pay the deposit?
Too easy, right?
Give me the cash.
Makes sense.
Speaking of at the track, we've got one more gentleman joining us. Looks like he's actually eating something as well. Maybe getting a little bite to eat. He is the ultimate Ryan Anderson. Ryan, what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, we're talking about having cash. I love having cash on hand if I'm at the racetrack. Jackson brought up a great point. I don't lose as much as that, so I'm never debating whether or not I have to go to the ATM and take out more. But no, I go with cash, and then you hit a ticket, you get cold hard cash in your hand, and I don't know why Saratoga would take away the cash option. And for your point about snacks, yeah, I'm eating some Pringles right now. So, dinner of champions out here.
I do need to ask, Brian, now that you are an employee of Del Mar, when are we going to get the Saratoga bring your own booze policy into effect down at Del Mar? Because I need that. I need that.
That's an excellent question, one that I don't have the answer to yet.
Okay. Well, when you're higher up, we need to enforce that new rule.
Mm-hmm. You need to definitely let us know about that in the future. Let's go ahead and get into the pick 5. John, I know you're primarily a Ragozin user. We primarily use DRF formulators, so we're going to be showing some PPs on the screen as we talk about these races. So let me get that up on the screen. I think I've got it right about there, but I need to go ahead and do that first so we can look at the Equibase. And there they are. Late pick 5 on Saturday at Del Mar. Starts with the race 6. It is 4:33 local time. Begins with an allowance optional claimer for $50,000. They're running for $81,000 purse, going a mile on the main track. You can see the field of 7, and we do have morning lines and numbers in the programs. And as you can see, the morning line favorite goes to the 6, Privman, for 1, Hernandez, Ouch, and Bob Baffert at 5-2. And then the second choice, the number 1 of the inside, Lyle Song, I believe is how you say it. I'm obviously not the best with names, with Antonio Fresu and Mark Glatt. Let me get the picks up on the screen and see who we're going with to kick off this late pick 5. I'm going 167. Jackson's also going 167. Ryan's going 617. And John, you're the odd man out. You're going with the 2, Feel the Magic for Kimura McCarthy, sitting at a nice price, 7-2.
Yeah, I don't want any part of Privman. Listen, I know Jay Privman personally, and it was quite an emotional thing for him when the horse finally broke his maiden last time out. But off the figures, he didn't run a big number, to be honest with you. All 3, the 1, 2, and 7, are all faster than him. I think Feel the Magic is the right horse. I think he may get ignored here, and I think you'll get every bit of the 7-2, and that's the horse I like best. I would use the 1 and 7, depending on how deep you're going. 2-1-7 for me.
I think there are certainly some concerns, and I think these other boys will kind of help me bring them up. I think we were actually there that day. And that race, from what I kind of read into it, was very, very merry-go-roundish. I know Privman just went to the lead and didn't look back. And then Penalty Box is a dear friend of mine, but he was just kind of second, then stuck around. Actually, our good buddy Rank was the only one really making up any kind of significant ground in there. Ryan, you've got him on top. I know maybe there are some reservations, but do you think he can just wire this field again?
Yeah, and honestly, that latest work on must have been August 2nd, came with goal-oriented at Del Mar. I was there that morning. I was watching him work, hosting Daybreak out here. And he was going heads up with goal-oriented the entire way around. He looked like he was really sharp and really on his toes. I spoke with Jay that morning as well, and he was kind of anticipating Privman being entered into a stakes race next based on how him and Bob saw him come out of that race. But I think they opted to take a more kind of cautious, not cautious approach, but maybe kind of ease him along, don't toss him to waters too deep. But he seemed to get brave on the front end, and it looks like he can get to the front again. And he kicked away at the top of the stretch, and I don't disagree that last race was a bit merry-go-roundish, to your point, Noah. I just think that, again, he's going to get up on the front, although I can't endorse this the morning line because you won't get 5-2, and I think we know exactly why we won't get that on a Saturday at Del Mar. But beyond that, I just think he's the most likely winner here. I know it's not very creative, though.
Yeah, but to your point, I don't think there's really a ton of speed in the race. I know the 1's been close before Jackson, but kind of came from a little bit further back than maybe we anticipated last time. What's the trip that you envision him getting, kind of sitting in the pocket, or do you think he's coming from out of it like last time?
I think they're going to go with this horse. Watch. You look at his first 3 starts; he was always forward. Watch the replay of his last race. He tried to get to the front, but it was just a mad dash to the lead. He actually broke with the field on top, and he was just so wide that Crazy kind of just decided I got to save some ground because he was going to be 7-8 wide in the turn, so he was much further back than he probably wanted to be in that race, and still ran well. He ran a good race that time. But now that he's drawing the inside, I think you probably want to go, right? You want to mess it up for Pridman. You want to get ahead of him, make Pridman chase, because the 2 times Pridman's had the chase, he has not run very well. I know he finished 2nd and 3rd, but those were much lesser fields that he couldn't pass the horse. So I think you want to try to get in front of him, hold your ground on the rail, and see what you got coming around the turn in the stretch, because his numbers put him right there. And I didn't think this was the deepest field ever. So I'm hoping he comes out the gates running, they take him in the front, and see what you got.
I don't know if I chalk up him losing last time to just immaturity, or maybe he wasn't super cranked off the layoff, but Indispensable is a nice horse, and he's done his best running at Del Mar as well. And actually I liked him quite a bit that day, so I was glad that Lyle Song didn't get the job done on the 19th. So that's the top pick for me as well. I think one more horse that we need to talk about, and I'll throw it back to you, John, for any final thoughts, is Brazenly, who's probably the classiest horse in the race. He finished 2nd, 2 back to Pony Express, who I'd like to see in the Pacific Classic here in a couple weeks. And then was just kind of clinking up last time. But on your figures, you said that he's one of the fastest in here.
Well, he ran a 5 last time out on the sheets, which is about as good as it gets. Privman ran a 12, just to give you an idea. But Brazenly's a 7-year-old that ran a 5, so we play horses like that to react usually. But I think he's going to be a lot longer than the 4-1. He never really gets bet, to be honest with you. He's a 7-year-old who only has 4 lifetime starts. Obviously, these other horses are lightly raced and have room to make, big improvements. I just threw him in because I'm against Privman. Again, Privman could certainly win. He was highly regarded. They paid a lot of money for the horse. But I like playing against short price horses that are not foolproof. And in my opinion, that's the case with Privman.
Yeah, and they've already run Brazenly 9 times this year, which is quite a bit, especially for a 7-year-old. So he's just super hard knocking again. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next race. I'm going 167. Jackson's copying me, going 167. Ryan's going 617, and John is going 217. Let's move on to the next race. Let me get that up on the screen here real quick. There we go. Race 7 is another allowance obstacle claiming, this time for $100,000, going 1 mile on the turf course. Got to mention that the rails are at 18 feet on Saturday, and you've got the field down below, and a pretty notable name and heavy morning line favorite in the number 2. Gold Phoenix for Kyle Frey and Phil D'Amato. He's sitting at 6-5 on the John Lee's morning line. Second choice goes just to his outside in the 3 Final Boss. And then vying for third choices, you got the 5 Astronomer, Beyond Brilliant, second off the layoff, and some others to consider as well. So let's see if we are going with the favorite in here. And nobody has this favorite on top. Jackson's the only one that's got the favorite even in his top 3. So we're all thinking very similarly here. John, I'll go back to you. You're going with quite a bit of a price in here. You're going with a 20-1 shot, Il Bellator, Billy Anton Georgi, Bautista, the conditioner, and hoping you get every bit of that big price in here.
Well, the name of the game is value. Listen, obviously, you could run the race 20 times, and Il Bellator may win it twice out of the 20 times. But I have excuses for his last couple of races. What I like best about this horse is that he goes back on Lasix. He's a much better horse when he's back on Lasix. He didn't have Lasix in either one of his last 2 races. Now he's back on Lasix, and believe it or not, he's got some numbers to go back to. Not the worst idea in the world. And again, obviously, I'm taking a swing for the fences. It's my first time on the show, and if I hit it out of the park, I'm sure I'll be invited back.
Oh, definitely.
I think Il Bellator will certainly outrun his odds. Another horse I'm interested in is Astronomer. He came around last time, and he ran sneaky well at Del Mar. He has a race over the track. Let's finish things off with number 1, Scooby Quando. So 4, 5, and 1 are the 3 horses that I like.
I love the case that you made for Il Bellator. I think that's a good point that you pick up with the Lasix. I think that's a huge thing. And sometimes with these horses, sometimes it doesn't really mean a ton, and sometimes it's others. I know we talked about a horse a couple weeks ago, Jackson, who was very Lasix dependent. who just moved into the McCarthy barn. Can you remind me the name of that horse?
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yes. Hall of Fame, very Lasix dependent. So it just varies horse to horse.
I think it makes a bigger difference with older horses. Older horses that have run on it throughout most of their career. I think and then they come off of it and go back on. I think with those kind of horses, I've noticed that it makes a bigger difference than when it happens with younger horses. Again, just my opinion, and that's the way I see it.
No, I think it's a great point. We'll keep the conversation going with the 5 astronomer who you got second, John. I'll throw it to Ryan because he's actually got him on top. Ryan, I thought his trip last time was definitely not ideal. The 2 wide stocking trip is never going to work here at Del Mar. We saw that plenty of times, and maybe even in the last race today. It might have actually been a little wider than 2 wide, but I digress, and I'll let you talk about what you like about astronomer.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up as I try to get that last race today out of my head. But either way, yeah, astronomer last time. I mean, first off the layoff, that 2 wide stocking trip, that's never going to get it done. Looking for the improvement second start off, but more importantly, I think this is one of the few horses in this field that truly likes the mile distance. I know most of us, except for Jackson, have left out Gold Phoenix from our top 3, and I assume that's because none of us like this horse going the mile distance. I know that's why I tossed him. I don't think he's a mile horse at all. I don't know why he's in this race. But yeah, I think astronomer second off the bench. He's run well at Del Mar, and I certainly think he has reason to improve. And I'm just hoping he gets to save some ground with Presu this time. Doesn't have that 2 wide stocking trip, and he should get the first run on a lot of those deep closers. So I like him on top, and I like that John and I are on the same page with Il Bellator. I picked this one in second. Didn't have the balls to pick him on top. But all the reasons, very much love that he gets back on Lasix, and he has some turf numbers that certainly fit versus this group.
Well, if you're the connections of Gold Phoenix, you have to find some kind of race to get him ready for his 4th Del Mar handicap. He's won 3, right? Has he won 3? I think he's won 3, correct?
Won at least 2.
Let's see.
Yeah, I know it's definitely at least 2. I feel like last year was number 3, but I could be wrong about that. Jackson, we'll throw it to you. You're going with the old timer in the number 8, Beyond Brilliant. Was off the layoff last time. Basically just had no chance after the beginning, and gets pretty much the best turf jockey out here in Hector Barrios to ride.
Yeah, I think he's a little interesting. Obviously, didn't want any part of him last time off the 3-year layoff, and as you said, he lost any chance at the start. He's a horse that wants to be somewhat forward, and he found himself dead last after getting steadied early on, and never really had clear sailing at any point in that race. And again, he's not a horse that wants to come closing late. So I think it can kind of just toss that. I think it's interesting that Hector picked up the mount on this horse because he did run so poorly last time. Hector bothers to ride here. I just think he's a bounce back candidate. Obviously, he's got numbers to run back to, and it's just weird that they have brought him back after so much time. Like they got to believe they have something here still in the tank. Like why bother bringing him back after 3 years? So I want to give him a shot. Has the best turf rider in Colony riding, and we'll see if he can get back to his winning ways in this race. The one concern I would have is the pace, which we probably should talk about. There's a lot of speed in here, so I don't know what the kind of trip he's necessarily going to get from that outside post. Because again, he's a horse that wants to be forward. There's a lot of horses that have the same style.
Yeah, I'll actually pose the question to the 2 down below you. How do you see this race playing out? Either of you, John or Ryan?
You could take it, Ron. I actually think that Beyond Brilliant is going to show more speed than I think Barrios may get aggressive on this horse. I really do. I was considering using him, but I went to the one instead. I like the trainer change on the one to Mike McCarthy. I think that's a big trainer change, an upgrade, in my opinion. And, again, I could see Beyond Brilliant, certainly. The whole edge of the race, I think we have the right idea trying to beat Gold Phoenix because he will be the favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, John, you and I agree. I like the trainer change of the one Scooby Quando into the Michael McCarthy barn. That's huge, and he can certainly get his runners ready. But to touch on the 8 Beyond Brilliant, we obviously spoke about this horse last time, was the morning line favorite, and just I went off at 9-1, I think rightfully so. But I just imagine he's going to kind of get that too wide stalking trip in this race. There's a lot of speed to his inside. I think Hector is going to be aggressive, but the way this draw kind of works out for him, it's going to be tough for him to save ground against the rail. It's going to be even tougher for him to make the lead uncontested. I don't know that he has that early speed anymore to cross and clear. He showed in the Seabiscuit 2 back before that long layoff that he's able to pass runners. So maybe Hector tries some similar tactics, something like that, where he sits behind Air Force Red and Final Boss, kind of in that same area that Astronomer's going to be. I just like Astronomer's turn a foot better, and I think Beyond Brilliant kind of gets the worst of it with that draw and his and his early speed.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I don't know if I see Hector like sending like hell to get the lead. I think he's going to be forward, but I do think Final Boss is faster, and I think he's just kind of the speed here. He's a tepid top pick of mine. I like progressive 4-year-olds. It seems like he's getting better and better with every race. He completely did the dirty work in the Wicker. Was up and on the pace and was getting pressed by another horse in here, which I'm kind of hoping with him on top that doesn't quite happen. But like you guys said very astutely, there is a decent amount of speed in here. Look at
the jockey change. Look at the no disrespect to Drayden Van Dyke and Victor Espinoza, but he's getting Hector Berrios. I mean, that's got to make up 3 lengths, 4 lengths along the way, I would say.
At least.
And
I was trying to be nice. You guys want to be nasty? Go ahead. But
and to Jackson's point,
it's a monumental jockey change. I really
and I think why he might like him is the fact that Van Dyke was on last time maybe indicates that he wasn't necessarily 100% last time, and now that Berrios is on, maybe he's got the
money guy. He's the money player, kind of.
I think I do think the relationship between CRK Hector and John Sheriffs has grown a lot this year. Obviously, he's ridden by Asa in all of his starts except for the Belmont and the Kentucky Derby where Flavian took them out, but I think that their relationship has grown a lot. And then, to your credit, John, the jockey switch is huge. And for Beyond Brilliant to come back and run an 89 buyer, and the time form indicates his figure was a little bit stronger than that buyer might reflect. So I think there's more in the tank. And again, that jockey upgrade, that's at least 3 lengths if we're being really nice about it.
I was being kind, right?
Let's go ahead and move on.
No one likes the favorite, huh? No one likes the favorite at all?
I mean,
well, obviously you
can
do.
Talk about
you can talk about it.
I'm just surprised. Like I'm because no one here likes him. I think everyone's inclination is to just toss him because it's too short, obviously. But he's the only closer in the race, and you have 4 or 5 horses that all want to be forwardly placed, and this thing could really heat up. And I know Mile probably is too short, and it probably isn't prep, but he's run fine going 9 furlongs before. And if the pace really does heat up like we think it might, I mean, why can't he come running late? He's the best horse in the race, no doubt about that. It's just a matter of is he going to get there in time? And if he's going to drift up to 6 to 5, if he's going to be 2 to 1, 5 to 2, I think it's a playable price. I won't be surprised if he does drift up quite a bit.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the board for sure.
He's run okay at 9 furlongs, but you're cutting back a whole furlong here to 8, and I mean, I don't know. I don't want to take a short price on him. If he gets up to the 3 to 1 range, then I'll take a flyer on him for sure. But 6 to 5 is way too low for a horse that I'm looking forward to. Yes, winning. I had to go check. Winning. Gonna go for his 4th straight Del Mar handicap.
That's quite the feat.
Nuts.
For sure.
That's
quite the feat for sure.
Good for Kyle though. Love that guy, Kyle Frey.
We'll go ahead and move on. I'm going 3-5-8. Jackson's going 8-3-2. Ryan's going 5-4-1, and John is going 4-5-1. Let's go ahead and move on to the next race, and let me get that up on the screen. There it is, race 8.
This is the race of the day.
Not the greatest of fields. It is a 10,000 claimer. I believe it's 9 winners with 3 lifetime. 5.5 furlongs on the main track. And the morning line favorite, as you can see in this field of 12, is the 11 Broadway Unions. Second last time for Juan Hernandez, and a new acquisition for Sean Williams. He's sitting at 8 to 5 on the line. Second choice is the 7 Majestic Palisades, Kimura, and Morphine at 7 to 2. Let's see who we are going with in this terrific quality of a race. I'm going 11-3-7. Jackson's going 6-11-4. Ryan's going 6-7-11, and John is going 4-11-7. Let's go to one of the 6 brothers. I'll go to Jackson. He's going with a 6. What's the buzz for Diego Herrera? Valdez sitting at 5 to 1. A very, very speedy type. Hoping he gets the front and doesn't look back.
Yeah, I mean, this race, look, you got a lot of horses coming out of the same common race on, I believe it was July 20th. July 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah, July 20th at Del Mar. And watching that replay back, I thought the horse you really wanted was the AE that ended up scratching the 13. And obviously, with him coming out, I didn't want anyone else coming out of that race. So I wanted the sticks on top. What's the buzz? Coming out of better races, both came out low style, but he's a speedy type. And, going this 5.5 furlong distance, speed is just so dominant in these races at Del Mar. You need to be forwardly placed to have your best chance. And he's going to be one of those horses that's definitely going to be up in the lead. I actually thought he ran pretty well in both of those spots at low style. Again, they came against tougher. He had tough inside posts at low style. It's very, very difficult to win from the inside down there in those big fields and those sprints. So I thought he ran pretty well considering he was 45-1 and 50-1 in those spots. That was going to be 5-1. He's going to be much more logical contender in this field. And again, I didn't want anyone coming out of that same race. So he's the right horse for me in this type of field, and we'll see what happens.
Ryan, it looks like you echo Jackson's sentiments.
Yeah, go to the front and don't look back. You get some much-needed class relief. He was way overmatched in those last two races. You drop down into what should be his friends here. And Herrera had a really good day today. I believe he had 2 wins. He's heating up a little bit. Hope he takes that momentum right into the weekend. Yeah, give me what's the buzz on top. Yeah, Jackson, you mentioned speed is dominant, and the 11, who I'm sure we'll talk about, just kind of has a tendency not to finish off those races.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a little bit. We'll go to John's top pick, the 4 Seagerman. He's on the screen now, sitting at 12-1. I don't know what you think, John. I think with the addition of Maldonado,
what happened to Maldonado? If somebody told you he was going to start the meet off 0 for 40 or something like that, that's like crazy. Not only that, when he gets on a horse, he usually wakes them up, and you always show a lot more speed. He's a terrific gate rider. I don't know the excuse the horse had the last time out, but his previous races are good enough. So I'm willing to forgive and forget when it comes to playing a price horse. Listen, if you're going to bet a horse that won his last time out or his last 2 or 3 times out, you're not going to get any value. The time to bet a horse is off a bad race, because that's when you get true value. Everybody that comes to the track, they look at the last race. Oh, finished 10th, beaten 20 lengths. I'm not betting this horse. But if you could find an excuse, I don't know what the excuse was, to be honest with you, but his previous races on the numbers, believe it or not, are fast enough. So I'm willing to forgive and forget when it's a bad race with a big price. And that's the situation I have here. Maldonado's a hell of a lot better rider than 0 for 40. We all know that. So it's just a matter of him turning things around and getting some confidence back. Again, I was willing to forgive and forget the last bad race. Even Ryan Hansen having a horrible meet. He's usually much better. He's coming off a terrific Santa Anita. I don't know. I looked for a price, and this was what I came up with. The 11, the problem with the 11 is last time out he was breaking from the rail. He got shuffled back. Now he draws a better box, but he's just too short a price.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I ended up chalking out, and I think because of what you exactly said, people are going to see that, he had trouble last time and kind of made this big move, but also the race kind of set up pretty well for him. And I think the slow beginning may have aided him in a way.
Yeah, forced him to close. You're right.
Yeah. And it just seems like a lot of people are going to maybe gravitate toward that, and he's going to be 6-5 in here. And I don't necessarily know if he's super worthy of that. I've obviously gotten him on top, and I'm going to be using others. I can't trust a horse like this at this low level. So I'll be using others as well, especially some of the few that we've got on the screen. Let's go to the 7, who I believe is the second choice in this race, to talk about the number 7, Majestic Palisades. Ryan, you've got him in second. I think a key angle in some of these lower level races for sure is to see some horses doing something for the first time, or a significant angle for a good trainer or not. Whether or not a trainer is super good at this angle, I think a lot of people are going to pay attention that this horse is cutting back in distance.
Yeah, that was quite the point you made on the horse that you took on top, saying that you didn't trust the favorite at that short a price yet. You still chalked out. But that's very much like you to take a morning line favorite. So way to stick to your guns, hope that horse pays $0 because that horse isn't going to win. And also, in that last race on July 20th, no one was going to beat Nation that day. We should point that out. Nation was a massive class dropper. That was purely just a fire sale on that horse, but we can move on to Majestic Palisades. If you can't tell by my picks, I don't like anybody out of that last race. That race just, to me, stunk. I want to look elsewhere. I'm going to pick another class dropper in here. This one's going to cut back to 5.5, which it's a pretty substantial one, going from a mile back to 5.5. But I do think that this one has a little bit of early foot, which maybe puts him around mid-pack early. Kazushi's been riding really well in a lot of these dirt sprints, so he should have this horse in a decent spot. I can't say this with any strong amount of confidence because this is a 5.5 furlong, 10,000 non-2 lifer. But I think Majestic Palisades has a real shot, and he should have a lot of stamina to him with that cutback from the 8 furlongs. And a lot of these probably don't have that same amount of bottom in them.
Yeah, and John, you've got I'll give you the final word in here. I've got Spiritus in second, who I think was up and on the pace in a race that completely fell apart. I know we've talked about that race at lengths here, but I wanted to give him another shot. I know he's 1 for 28, but he's got some decent races on the page. You've got the 7, so any kind of comment here with the 7 or anybody else that you've been looking at in here?
I backed into the 7, honestly, by default, because I don't think there's much in this race. I mean, even look at the trainers, take nothing away from them, but look at Ruben Gomez, Sergio Morphine, Jerry Wallace. These guys don't win a lot of races in Southern California. They win at the fair. Sergio Morphine does real well at Los Al, but I don't know how well he really does here. So I don't know. It's a horrible race. And let's be honest, for a Saturday for them to give you this race, they're reaching the bottom of the barrel.
Especially in the late pick 5, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
You'd like to see one of these races a little bit earlier, but what can you do? I know there's a 6-horse field in the late double tomorrow, I believe. Wasn't that what I said earlier, Ryan? So
hey, at least the field is a full 12 horses, so it's a bad field, but in terms of horizontals, this could be a big separator in that sense. So that's the only thing I can kind of endorse for why that would be in the sequence. Other than that, I can't really say I love seeing this race in between 2 very good one optional claiming event that could very well be a stakes race, and then the stakes race that we're going to talk about here in a bit.
And we're all still going to play it, right? So,
well, of course you're going to play it.
Absolutely.
We got to pick our battles for sure. We'll move on to the next race. I'm going 11-3-7. Jackson's 6-11-4. Ryan's 6-7-11. And John is 4-11-7. Next race that we're going to be talking about, Ryan mentioned it. It is the feature on the card, and it is the Grade 2 Yellow Ribbon Handicap. $200,000 purse. You've got 4-year-old and up fillies and mares going 1 mile and 16th on the grass. Field of 8, and the morning line favorite goes to the number 1, Hang the Moon, Kazushi Kimura, Phil D'Amato. D'Amato's actually got 4 in here. He's got half the field, which is really no surprise. Second choice, the 3 Liguria for Ruspoli and McCarthy at 7-2, and then the third choice, one of the Invaders, the 2 Heredia for Juan Hernandez and Graham Motion. Let's see who we're going with in here. I'm going 3-2-4. Jackson's going 4-3-1. Ryan's going 4-2-1. And John is going 2-6-3. John, you're going with one of the 2 Invaders. I know the 6 was Motion last time, but switched over to D'Amato here. But you're going with the Motion anyways. You're going with the 2 Heredia coming out of the De La Rose, if I'm correct.
Correct. I love playing turf horses going east to west. I love playing dirt horses going west to east. Over the years, the figures anyway, the East Coast turf horses really are, I think, superior to the West Coast turf horses, and vice versa for the most part. Obviously, we're not talking about sovereignty and those kind of horses, but for the most part, dirt horses have a lot more success going west to east and turf horses have a lot more success going east to west. And Heredia fits that bill. And over the years, Graham Motion has always shipped in and done well. I think 4-1's a square price. You're getting J.J. Hernandez. I just think this horse is going to get a good trip in here, and I ended up on her.
Jackson, I'm going to throw it to you. I'm a little surprised that you don't have this one in the mix. I know you're good buddies with Will Humphrey, who's an assistant for Graham Motion. Has he indicated anything to you?
I didn't ask him about this horse yet. I'll do that. I'll find out before Saturday. I just didn't love the last race. I thought it didn't seem like the greatest of field ever. I know it was on the East Coast, West Coast. I agree with everything that John had to say about that. I'm just not sure that field was that great. And she didn't really have any excuse in there. She had a dead aim. She got a really good inside-outside trip in that spot and just was third best in there. So maybe she does take a step forward, third start in the U.S., but I don't know. I thought it was a wide open race. I wanted someone a little bit more forward in the race that just we definitely need to talk about the pace because there's
where is it coming from? I could be a rabbit in this race. You put me out there, I could be a rabbit. Like there is no pace.
Let's go down the field. We got the 1 with a whopping 46 early time for him. The 2's got 56. Liguria 58. Public Assembly 77, which is a high as of now. Watchtower's close 72. Mission of Joy 78. Musical Rhapsody with quite the speed with a 12, and then Mahina, who's very, very slow in her right, she's got a 57. So I think everyone's going to be kind of trying to answer the same question that we have, and where the speed is coming from. I did mention that there are 4 D'Amatos in here. I think the one that probably goes is the one that I've got on the screen right now in the 4 Public Assembly. And Ryan, you and Jackson both have this 4-year-old filly on top.
Yeah, I don't disagree that the 4 Public Assembly is going to go to the front here. I think that this is the most logical of the D'Amatos, and I think one of the D'Amatos is meant to get the lead in here. So I think it's Public Assembly, simply for the fact that the 77 speed early pace figure somehow makes this one a clear front runner. Yeah, I'll take Public Assembly. I'm going to go 4-2 in here. I love the way Heredia closed last time out in that stake race, and I'm with you, John. I love the turf horses going east to west. Typically, that moves them up a little bit. And she closed into a relatively slow pace that day at Saratoga. But Public Assembly, again, yeah, I think this is just kind of that local horse that I want. Hasn't run at Del Mar yet. But obviously Phil D'Amato knows how to train all of these turfers, and he has a stranglehold over this race, to say the least. So yeah, I'll take Public Assembly. Not a great deal of confidence, but I feel confident locking up with the 2-4 here.
I'll pose a question to the group, and I want to see what these guys say with the 4 on top, and maybe you can comment on this too, John. So the 4 was in front of the 3 Liguria last time. And was not anywhere close to her when they passed the wire. So my question is, how is she going to turn the tables in this race?
Well, this wasn't my idea. It was someone I didn't even pick Public Assembly. So, I honestly, I don't like the horse. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah. So
no, look, I'll take it. She ran terrible last time. There's just no way around it. She was it was no show Sammy Joe and Be Your Best. They went at it in the grade 1 Gamely, and they opened up. And this horse was pretty much in the best spot the whole time. Just sitting third, 4 or 5 lengths behind, and just had no answer. She was bad. There's no way around it. She was terrible. But she needs to get back to the race 2 back, where she ran huge in the Royal Heroine. Kind of got a very similar trip that day. It was really, really fast pace, and just got the jump on everyone and won in that spot. And that was a race that just completely fell apart. If you guys remember, we talked about that race. I think everyone else that finished behind her came from 15 lengths out of it, and they were so far back that finished out the trifecta and superfecta. So that was a monster effort that day. She needs to get back to the race 2 back, because if she runs that race 2 back, she can win this thing. She's going to be 4th place. I don't know if it matters if she's in front or in second. Like, they're going to go slow. She's going to get the jump on everyone again. So just get her out of the gate, get her forward, and see what happens, because that race 2 back was too good to ignore.
I ended up with Liguria. I know, John, you're the only one that's got her in the mix as well as me. I thought the Gamely was fine. I mean, she was super wide that whole time. And there's a lot of riffraff in the chat. I don't know if I should.
The chat's going crazy.
No, that just came out of nowhere. I'm going to try to, put that to the side and focus on my topic here.
You think they're all hanging out?
Yeah, well, they got to be.
Yeah, right.
We're saying, so I did get some info from Patrick. So they were supposed to watch a movie tonight with PTF, and the same issue happened last year where they were trying to get it on a projector, and I couldn't get the projector to work. And last year the running joke was that I screwed it up, which I think I probably did. But they were like, Pat was messaging me, and he was like, "Hey, we need you to come in here and fix it." So I'm getting the riffraff from the group right now.
As you should.
But her Buena Vista was really good. She beat Tirapati, who was in tip-top form at that time. Like I said, she was super wide in the Gamely. You can excuse the megahertz. She was off a long layoff. I'm hoping that just because her style is to kind of come from way out of it, I'm hoping Rispoli can maybe be a little bit more aggressive. I think what are they going, a mile and 16th on Saturday? I think that's going to be perfect for her. Hits it right between the eyes. She's done well at a mile. She's done well at a mile and 8. So another tepid pick, but I do like the race that I think Liguria is sitting on for sure. Let's go to the 6, John, to talk about Mission of Joy. Now, I mentioned earlier, this is a barn switch from Motion to D'Amato. Again, he's got 4 in here. Picks up Ayuso, and she's got numbers, especially around this time last year, that certainly fit. I guess the question is, where is that form?
No, the question, believe it or not, she actually ran a lifetime top last time out when she went back on Lasix at Woodbine. Woodbine, these horses could run on Lasix. The race 2 starts back was without Lasix, and obviously Saturday she'll be off of Lasix again. So, but the real problem I had with this horse is that she's, she ran a top last time out, and I don't like betting horses off tops that I think are going to be bet. And I think this horse is going to take money, because it's D'Amato. So for that listen, if the horse repeats her last race, she could win. The question is she going to do that? Because throughout her career, she's never really put races together. Last year at Saratoga and Churchill, she put 2 big races together and didn't win either one of them. So for that reason, I played against her. But again, listen, it's a tough race. Liguria, remember, didn't run at all last year and now makes her 4th start this year. So it's not such an easy race, and you should probably demand some value. I think you want to avoid the favorites in this race. Just my opinion.
Yeah, and the favorite that we haven't even talked about, I know,
is the rail horse.
The 2 regular co-hosts on the show have got her in 3rd. Personally, I think if there's anyone in this sequence that I'm most against, it's her. But I'll let the other 2 boys make their case. Ryan or Jackson, neither one of you can start that conversation.
This one's logical. Just coming off of a layoff. Obviously, if this one wins, we'll all get to see Mike Joyce running around in the winner's circle again, like we did last year. But I don't know. I feel like this one is going to need a little bit more pace, and this definitely feels like a prep for this horse. This feels like kind of a stepping stone into that Pacific Classic weekend, because we've seen before she can kind of turn around on quick notice. So with Pacific Classic, 4 weekends away. Something tells me that this might be a little bit of a stepping stone into something like that, or maybe even something at Santa Anita later on in the fall for one of the Breeders' Cup win and you're in. This feels, again, just kind of like a starting off point. Got a little bit of a late start to her year, but certainly capable on her best day. I just don't think she's going to get the pace and the setup that she might need here.
Jackson, she won the maybe when Anisette and Didia completely misfired. She won the Rodeo Drive at 10-1, but that was on 1.25 miles. She ran in one of the worst Breeders' Cup Filly Mare turfs that I've seen in a long time, and then she lost at 70 cents on the dollar. That's how I see it. How do you see it?
I mean, I'm not completely against her. I think she's a win candidate in here. I do agree that she's probably a little shorter than I would want. That's why I have her in 3rd, but she was good last summer. I mean, yeah, you can say those horses misfired in the maybe, but that wasn't a fluke. She came back and ran even better in the Rodeo Drive. And it's not like she had crazy setups in either of those races either. I mean, she's not a horse that needs these, suicidal fractions to get there. She runs well fresh. She can close in a slower pace, and she might be 4th place. And it all depends how they ride this race. Like, they might just be 2 lengths separated, and they turn into a 3 furlong sprint for home. Like, she might have the best kick in the field, and maybe she gets it done that way. I'm not betting her on top. I don't think she's a complete toss, like you said.
Yeah, no, I understand it. I think there's a lot of different ways, and like you said, Jackson, I think it certainly could be a rider's race for sure. Let's move on to the last. I'm going 3-2-4. Jackson's going 4-3-1, Ryan's going 4-2-1, and John's going 2-6-3. Let me get the echo base up for the last race, and there it is right there. Race 10, we ended off with a maiden special weight on the main track, actually. They're going 6 furlongs on the main track, $100,000 purse. They've got straight 3-year-old fillies, and the morning line favorite is the number 7, Crystal Clean, for Barrios and Sadler. Second choice, the 9, Surfin' Candy for Frey and Sean McCarthy. And then the third choice is the 3. It's not Rich Gold, it's Ride Gold for Juan Hernandez and Craig Lewis. Let's get our picks up on the screen for the finale. I'm going 9-7-5. Jackson's going 5-7-4. Ryan's going 5-7-9. And John's going 5-3-4. So all 3 of these guys have the 5 on top.
I had 5-3-10, I believe.
5-3-10.
Yeah, the 10 is 20-1. So,
well, gotta throw her in there, of course.
Yeah.
John, I'll let you start us off. I know the other boys will add on to what you've got, but you're going with the 5 Tiger Fire.
Yeah, well, Coroner does well with these kind of horses. Her last race was run on the turf so we could draw a line through it, but her dirt race, her first start of her career, was good enough. She got bet that day and she ran well. And if she runs that race, she's going to be very tough. The 3, again, had 6 chances already. Same problem with the 10. I don't like horses that are proven losers. So I give them like 6, 7 chances, and after that, I don't want any part of them. But the reason I threw the 10 in is because she's 20-1, and she really has some number power. I have no idea who the jock is, to be honest with you. But I'm betting horses, not riders, and I'm getting 20-1, so I have no problem throwing that horse in. But to me, the 5 is clearly the horse to beat.
And Brian Jackson, anyone got anything to
add? Yeah, 5 is a single for me. I think this horse is going to appreciate getting back on the dirt, and I think that's it. I think this horse is going to go to the lead under Ayuso, and I think that's all she wrote. Corner, as John mentioned, excellent with this type of runner. And I think third start of the career is going to be the winning one.
Yeah, she's way the horse to catch, right? I mean, in that debut race, she beat Hurricane Layla to the front, and Hurricane Layla is very, very fast. We saw her make the lead in the Fleet Tree a couple weeks back. She opened up like 3 lengths on that field. So that's a very, very fast horse that she beat the lead. The concern is she's gotten very, very tired late in both of her starts. So is 6 furlongs maybe a little bit too far for her? We'll have to wait and see, but she's definitely a horse to catch. I was toss up between the 5 and the 7. The 5 is a much better price on the morning line, so I'll have her on top. The horse I was surprised it's such a big price is the 8. The Kentucky Shipper, 12-1. If you got 12-1 on that horse, I think that's a great bet. I don't even think she'll be half that come post time, but if you somehow do get 12-1, sign me up.
Yeah, and D'Amato took her for 32 back, ran her for 50. Nobody took her. She was actually the favorite that day and didn't quite fire maybe her best. But with the condition being a Calbred, she's able to be protected in this spot, which I think is, it's got to be a positive, right? Especially for Little Red Feather, who their main emphasis and their main philosophy is to try to win races down in Del Mar. So I think she's a little interesting, and I'd watch the board on her for sure. Let's talk about some of the firsters, and we'll get that conversation started with the morning line favorite, the 7 Crystal Clean. I'll throw that back to you, Ryan, because you do have her in second, and you and Jackson are copying each other in here.
Yeah, I guess he's copying me, but nothing new here as we keep things rolling. But morning line of 3-1, I don't know if we'll get that. I feel like she's going to drift up come post time. But what really attracted me was this filly being by Violence and being a Calbred. Violence very strong with his with his first time starters. About 15%. Whether it's 2 or 3 year olds. So very strong from there. And obviously Sadler and Barrios team up all the time for some winners. Didn't want to pick this one on top because I do think that the runner with experience, the 5 who we've talked about, is going to have that experience and stamina edge. And we know Sadler, while he's good first time out, sometimes he likes to bring him along a little bit. But I think the 7's certainly going to have a good account of herself.
Yeah, and I think the philosophy that I kind of took in this race was I am a little more worried about the 6 furlongs than maybe you guys with the 5. So I thought maybe she would be a little leg weary, and I wasn't super thrilled with some of the other horses that I've seen run so far. So wanted to go with the firsters. I think the 9 will probably be the better price, and I think the 9's actually got a little bit more ability. Surf and Candy, who I've got on top. This is, I think you can pretty much chalk this up as a homebred for Kurt Rexius. And Rex Racing LLC. But I watched her in the mornings, and she actually blew the doors off of her workmate. I don't know how good the workmate was, but I thought that was eye-catching. The dam you see on the screen, she won going sprinting twice, actually. She won an allowance race way back in 2016, but she had 2 nice races on the page where she got the lead and didn't look back. And then dam is by Surf Cat, and then I cannot bring up those PPs. But anyway, I think there's enough breeding and ability from what I've seen in the mornings that I could take 7-2 on her. I think I'll probably get around that just because, when you look at these first-time starters, Kyle Frey and Sean McCarthy are typically not the connections that the public necessarily gravitates to. So I've got her on top as the pick in here. So let's go to some others. John, I know you talked about the 10. I'll let you talk about the 3 in here, who is Ride Gold, getting back to the dirt after she was on the turf for 4 starts.
Yeah, and listen, the clubhouse rides have done very well on the grass, as everybody knows. So I guess they kind of, figured, well, this may not be the turf horse that other clubhouse rides are. The horse's dirt races were better than her turf races, believe it or not, and she's returning to the dirt, and she's getting Hernandez re-ride. So to me, that means something. I don't know. Believe me, it's not a great field. Let's be honest. If anyone won, it wouldn't really be much of a shock for the most part, except for maybe the one horse. But other than that, you can make a case for a lot of horses here. So I prefer betting horses that have run as opposed to first-time starters in this particular situation. Again, no killers here. So I don't know. That's just the way I see it. And it's a 10th race on Saturday, which goes off at about 10:30 New York time. So I'll be wiped out by then.
Yeah, it seems like
her two of her 3 sprints are just way better than her routes. I mean, her routes are awful. Make no mistake about it. But the debut and then the race, her third career start was really good. That was a good horse that ran her down. The race completely fell apart. Tight Squeeze has come back to win another race and then got second against Open Company. And that was a good filly that ran her down. And then their debut was good too. It's just no matter which version of her we get.
Yeah, and Jackson, we'll keep it with you to talk about the last horse that we'll touch on, then we'll move on to best bets. But you've got Oh My Vron, which is interesting. It's a daughter of Ohm. This is a homebred for Harris Farms, Carly Gaines firster, and you've got her in 3rd.
Yeah, just another one. I feel like a lot of the horses in this field that have run before, I just don't trust at all. So I wanted some fresher faces. I think in some ways the 3 might be one of them, the 5 it might be one of them. Like it's just this is the race you want to watch the board. Like just take whatever horse you think is the best value in the field because I don't have a strong opinion. So whatever horse you think is getting left alone, just take it.
I like it. We'll go ahead and move on to best bets. I'll start with you, Ryan. Ryan, you've got a win bet in race 7 on the number 5 Astronomer, and then he's got whatever that pick 5 is that he made me enter about 5 minutes ago. It's 6 with 5 with 6, 7 with 2, 4 with 5. I guess the floor is yours, Ryan.
Yeah, obviously we'll start with the number 5 with the win bet on Astronomer, who is my top play in the sequence. I like this horse at a mile distance. I think second off the bench, he can really improve. And the pick 5, to me, that's just one I'll play and I'll press it up a bunch. Spoke about how I think Privman is going to improve again, just getting to the lead. Astronomer again, I'll press that up. Go 2 deep in that super fun claiming race we talked about with those 2 runners. Follow that up with the 2 horses I want to lock up with in Heredia and Public Assembly in the yellow ribbon, and then end it with Tiger Fire. I'll play that a few times. It won't be too much, but I'll definitely press up that win bet on number 5 Astronomer because I'm looking forward to that horse running back. And this horse has been a pet of mine for so long. I think on the show I signed the divorce papers, and we're so back.
Don't get married to horses. That's all I can tell you because that's the worst thing you could do is chase them. But I get it. I do.
I like the first bet. I don't know how much I'm on board with the second bet, but I do like the first bet.
Guys,
you like the chalk that you don't trust in the. Oh yeah. Oh my! We're in a toxic relationship with Rank.
He's 0 for 15 now.
He's still a maiden. He will be a maiden forever.
He's gonna have his day in the sun, and I will be there when it happens.
It's the 2026 Belmont Gold Cup. Everybody, mark your calendars.
The problem is when a horse like that finally wins, they pay $380, and you never. That's the problem.
Oh god,
Jackson, for your best bet. You're making things really, really easy on me, and you're just going with a straight win bet in race 6, which is the first race we talked about. Going with a win bet on the 1, Lyle's Song.
Yeah, usually at least have a little double for you, but I thought the sequence was a little tough, so I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. Ryan's buddy's going to make a good opportunity in that first race where, Pridman's going to be way over bet. He's going to have a very large wager on Pridman. He's going to be 4 to 5 for absolutely no reason, and I'm hoping Lyle's Song can beat him to the lead. So beat him to the lead because this horse, I kind of thought it was a 2-horse race. And I much prefer the inside horse. Go to the front, see what you got.
I like it. My best bet, I'm going with a double in race 8. Starts with the 11 in that fantastic $10,000 claimer. I do like that horse, but I'm not going to touch that horse at 6-5. So I'll play doubles with John's top pick, the 2, the Motion Horse Heredia, and the 3 Liguria. These guys are shaking their head, but I don't know what they're.
You just said you won't touch the horse, and then you're using it.
And then in the pick 5, I'll use others, but I'm not gonna go like 3x2 in a double. It's just stupid.
Sorry, can I make one more point about my best bet?
No.
Go ahead.
Real quick.
I don't even belong here, but go ahead.
With the new change, no CAWs late in the win pool. Like that is a really good opportunity because you're going to see the giant bet on Pridman, and you're going to know with 2 minutes both that it's not going to like you're going to know
it's not going to change.
He's going to like Lyle Song's going to be 2-1 in all the will pays, and he's going to be 4-1 in the win pool. And those are the opportunities you're going to want to play.
By the way, I'm glad that they did that thing with the CAW with the win bets, but why not do it with all the pools? You know, I mean, if they're admitting there's a problem as far as win bets concerned, well, then there are problems with the other pools as well. The only difference is people will not notice it as quickly unless you're charting exactas and doubles and you see the drastic drops. You're not going to notice it. It's misleading. They're being short-sighted and they're hurting themselves in the long run, I think. I mean, I know big players and I know a lot of big players that have walked away because of it. It's not only California. It sticks out at Del Mar for some reason more than anywhere else. But it's a disaster for the game. It really is. They don't care.
I want to get your take on this because you make an interesting argument about walking away. I wouldn't blame anyone walking away with some of the decisions that we've seen with some of these disqualifications lately. First one, Zulu Kingdom.
Horrendous. And they doubled down on stupid by giving Pratt 3 days suspension after blowing the call. They said, you know what? We were so right. We're going to give him 3 days. That's doubling down on stupid as far as I'm concerned. It's the dumbest thing I ever saw. And the takedown at Del Mar the night after, they're going to start looking at gate infractions. Well, this is going to be a long summer. I'll tell you, you got to let them play, especially 2-year-olds out of the gate. I mean, that was just, and the 7, in my opinion, crossed over just as much as the 5 did. So if you're taking down the 5, you got to take down the 7. You can't take down one of them. Neither one should have come down, but that's another story for another day. Don't get me started.
Oh, he's trying to. Believe me, he's trying to.
He is.
And there was one today. I know Ryan benefited because the 2 won, but the 2 in the, I don't know what race was that. Ryan was like,
I don't know why they were looking at that. It was an $8,000 claiming race, and both horses that they were looking at, the 2 and the 3, who obviously broke next to each other, they both stumbled and broke terribly, and they kind of ran into each other, but they just broke. They broke like shit, and they're $8,000. We don't need to. There was nothing that happened.
Their $8,000 claim is if it's a foul, it's a foul. But I have another theory while we're doing this on inquiries and objections. Unless it's a unanimous decision, they shouldn't take the horse down because all it does is mean that 1 out of the 3 people didn't agree with them. So right away, that's opening it up to controversy. If you say that it's a unanimous decision, well, what could the public say? But once they say, well, in a majority decision, that means somebody agreed with a lot of people out there that are pissed off. So if it's not a unanimous decision, give the guy days, give him a fine, but don't penalize the player. You know, that's just.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's just my,
I think that's logical.
For years and nobody listens, so no one will ever listen to me. But that's besides the point. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Make sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense for you, Ryan. That's good enough for me.
It's good with Ryan. It's good with all of us.
That's it.
We could talk about that segment for another 45 minutes. But John, it's been a pleasure to.
I enjoyed it. Anytime you guys need me, I'm always available. You guys are terrific, and you're the young blood of the game, and I love to see it. You guys are really good at what you do, and good job. And thank you for having me.
No, thank you, John. It's been a pleasure to spend these 59 minutes and 30 seconds with you, but we're going to have to wrap things up for Jackson.
You get my best bet, by the way. Feel the magic in the 6th race. I'm going against Privman. I'm going against the 1 horse. I'm going to go with the 2 horse. Thank you, guys.
I like it.
Be well, everybody. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Jackson,
Thank
Ryan,
you, John.
John.
Nice meeting all of you. Thank you.
Episode 40 of Pacific Horse Players. We'll see you guys next week.
We'll be right back.